A warm welcome to everyone who has joined here today. My name is Srinivasan, and I take care of content and communications here at Wealthy. With me, I have again, as always, Mr. Sai Prashant, team leader and vice president here at Wealthy, and a frequent guest at Masterclass. Today's topic is going to be about levers of wealth. In this session, we will basically do a lot of number crunching to find out which is the most effective way to build wealth. In other words, should you focus on your rate of interest? Should you try to save more? Or should you try to earn more? This is what we will try to answer in today's session. So let me share my screen. Please let me know. Okay. So let me start with the story. Once upon a time in India, a king lost a game of chess to his minister. In as a prize, the minister made a very strange request. He said, "On the first day, I want 1 grain of rice on the first square. On the second day, I want 2 grains of rice, and so on." Something like this. The king found the request to be very strange and he was about to grant it when the treasurer interrupted him and said that if the king were to grant this request by the 30th day, the state would be bankrupt. So, why did the king not understand this? The reason for that is very simple. Compounding is hard for the human mind to understand. I will give you another example, and this example involves you and all of us here. So a few months ago, accidentally, I had shared a creative in which I had written that one could become a crorepati by investing 50,000 per month in 4 years. Okay. This again, there was a calculation error from my side, and Sai Prashant actually helped me spot it, but nobody else saw that there was a huge blunder in this slide. Okay, basically all of this is to say that when it comes to compounding and when it comes to calculations, humans, that is you and me and all of us, we are very bad at understanding it. This is the moral. Okay, moving on. So what are levers? Okay, levers or levers as the Americans would like to pronounce it. Basically it's a simple device with which you can do some work. Okay, so a seesaw, a stapler, a wheelbarrow, scissors, all of these are examples of levers. Okay, the financial term leverage is also derived from the word lever. Okay, so there are basically three ways to make money. You can either increase your income or increase your savings or increase the return on investment of your portfolio. I mean, this is it. I mean, you don't need any maths to understand this. But if I were to ask you, among these three, which is the most important, that is where it gets a little tricky. I've done these sessions in the past, and every time I used to conduct a poll, most people would say that you should focus on your ROI. Okay, as we will see in the rest of the session, ROI is the least important of these three levers. If you are going to focus on your ROI, really, you will, at least in your formative years, in the initial years of your wealth journey, you will be wasting a lot of time, as I will explain in the next few slides. So let's take the example of one Mr. Ravi, okay, to explain this. So, like I said, he can do three things. He can either increase his annual income by 3%, or the second option is he can increase the amount that he saves every month, every per annum. So let's say he increases it by 2% per annum till he can save a maximum of 66%, or he focuses on his ROI and he changes his asset allocation such that his post-tax ROI grows by 0.5% until it reaches 10%. So every time I would ask these questions, which of these three would give the most impactful result, people would almost always say that the third option, the one in which his post-tax ROI grows, is the most effective option. Actually, it is not. Ravi should focus on saving first, then earning, and only after that Only after that should he focus on ROI. So let's understand why. So for the rest of this presentation, I will be considering the example of one Mr. Rajesh. He's a 30-year-old male, married with 2 kids. He earns rupees 9 lakhs per annum. His current savings is rupees 4 lakhs. And again, he's planning to retire in 20 years, that is by 2039. Now, since this presentation was made for 2020, again, I will say this again, this presentation was made for 2020. For the entire presentation, we are considering the investment period from January 2020 to December 2039, which is a period of 20 years. Okay. He wants to create a target, an inflation adjusted corpus of rupees 2.4 crores, which is basically to say, if he had rupees 2.4 crores today, he will retire. Okay. We are assuming the inflation will be 7%. So again, these are the assumptions that we will be using in the rest of this presentation. So let's say he focuses on ROI. Okay. Or rather, these are the 3 levers that he has currently. He's currently earning, like I said, 9 lakhs, which is growing at 10% per annum. Or lever 2, he's investing 40% of his salary. Or this, that his current asset allocation is very conservative. He has put almost all his money in debt like PPF, FD, savings account, and a few debt funds. All of these put together fetch him a post-tax return of 7.5%. So yeah, so these are the 3 levers. So at the current rate, like I said, he's currently earning rupees 9 lakhs per annum. He's saving 40% and his portfolio is giving him 7.5%. At the current rate, in December 2039, he will have a corpus of rupees 4 crores. After adjusting for inflation, remember, we are assuming the inflation to be 7%. It will come to rupees 1.1 crores. Those of you who can open the link that I had shared, you can put the numbers as I speak and see it for yourself. So yeah, like I said, this is where he stands after 20 years. He will have an inflation adjusted income of inflation adjusted corpus of 1.1 crores. If he were to continue for another 5 years, that is for a period of 25 years, his inflation adjusted corpus will grow, say, about 50% more, about 40% more. So that is to around 1.5 crores. One thing to note here, throughout this presentation, I have given numbers in lakhs. So when I say 400, it means 400 lakhs, which in other words is 4 crores. Okay. So this is where we stand. Okay. If Rajesh continues to earn and invest like the way he's doing right now, in December 2039, he will have 1.1 crores. Remember, his target is 2.4 crores. So clearly, this approach will not work. So let's find out what approach will work. This is his current, the graph of his current retirement corpus. Again, like I said, this is not inflation adjusted, so this is not sufficient for his retirement. So let's look at lever 1. Let's say he works on his ROI. Let's say he joins Wealthy, he attends classes like these, and he finds out how to increase the ROI of his portfolio. Okay, so let's say if it is giving him 7.5%, he changes his asset allocation gradually so that it increases by 0.5% every year. So if in 2020 it gave him 7.5%, in 2021 it will give him 8%, then 8.5, then 9, 9.5, till it reaches a maximum of 10% per annum. Okay, if he does this, his corpus increases to 5.05 crores. Adjusting for inflation, it is 1.39 crores. Again, this is well short of his inflation target of rupees 2.4 crores of inflation adjusted corpus. So this is not working. What if he continues for another 5 years? It increases to 1.6 crores. Again, not enough. Now let's say instead of increasing it by 0.5% per year, what if he increases it by 1% per year? Okay. And not just that, he increases it to a maximum of 11% per year. So let's say if it is 7.5% in 2020, it grows to 8.5% in 21, then 9.5% in 2022, so on till it reaches a maximum of 11%. Then the corpus is 5.59 crores. After adjusting for inflation, it is 1.5 crore. So again, ROI is not enough. Let's go to another example to show why ROI is not enough. 1 minute. So since we have taken this session in the past, okay, and we will be sharing the YouTube link, I am skipping some of the slides. I am also assuming that some of you are familiar with wealth management. Therefore, I'm not going into too much detail in this presentation. If at any point, if you have any questions, please feel free to chat and feel free to type in the chat box. Thank you. Let's look at a much simpler level. Okay. What if you could decide your ROI? Okay. So even if you were to get 7.5% per annum, it will take you 11 years to reach 1 crore. Now, let's say, for example, if you were an investing genius, okay, someone like Warren Buffett who could predict how much each stock does. And, if you were to get 20%, ROI, even then it will take you 8.3 years to reach your first crore. Think about it. 7.5 ppf and anybody in this room can get. It's not very hard. It's not hard at all. Whereas 20% you need to be an investing genius. If today I can earn 20% per annum consistently, honestly, I would be maybe sitting next to Warren Buffett. That's how hard it is. But even then it will take you 8.3 years to reach 1 crore. What does that tell you? That no matter how hard you focus on ROI in your initial years, it will not make you a crorepati a lot faster. You will still need to spend time to get there. Let's look at this another way. This is the salary of Rajesh for over the next 20 years. Okay. So in 2020, he earned 9 lakhs per annum. He got an increment of 10%. In 21, it was 9.9 lakhs. In 2024, it was 13.18 lakhs. Since we do not have space, I have given his salaries for a few years, from 2020 to 2039. Now imagine a situation in which Rajesh enters into a contract with his employer and tells him that I will serve you for the next 20 years. However, you have to give me my salary for the 20th year now. Okay. In other words, he says that give me the salary for 2039 now, then 2038 salary the next year. Basically, he said that give me my salary in reverse order, like this. You see, he gets 2039 salary now, then 2038 salary next year, and so on. Now, look at these two tables very closely. Okay, the amount of income that he earns over the period of 20 years is the same. Over 20 years, he earns 515 lakhs, which is 5.15 crores. Since he's investing 40% of that, he invests 2.1 crores in both the tables. On the left is his regular salary, on the right is his reverse salary. The income that he earns and the amount he invests in both is the same. However, his portfolio in both cases turns out to be very different. Let's look. So you see, the first one, like I said, it comes to 1.1 crores. If he gets salary like everyone does, but if he gets salaries in the reverse order, after adjusting for inflation, his corpus becomes 1.66 crores, which is somewhat close to his target of 2.4 crores. Now, the point to be noted is he has not increased his rate of return or his savings or even the amount of or the income that he gets. He has merely changed the order in which he gets. Again, if you look at these two tables again, okay, the amount is the same. It's only the order that is changing. But when you do this, his corpus increases to 1.66 crores instead of 1.1 crores. So why is this happening? The reason is very simple. Okay, because he is getting a bigger sum very early on, he's allowing it to compound over the next 20 years. Okay, so imagine this: the blue the blue line is the reverse income, the red line is the regular income. Okay, in the blue line, in the first year in 2020 he gets 55 lakhs, which is his salary for 2039. In the red line he gets rupees 9 lakhs, which is his salary. Okay, because he gets rupees 55 lakhs and because 55 lakhs gets a period of 20 years to compound, the difference is very obvious. So basically this is to say that ROI does not make a huge difference in your initial years of investing. Now, when does ROI make an impact? Again, this is an example that we have shared widely in the group. Okay, but for those of you who have not seen it, I will explain it again. So let's consider the example of two twin brothers, Mahesh and Ramesh, both of whom are 50 years old. They lead exactly the same lifestyle. Okay, the only difference is their portfolio is a little different and their ROI is a little different. Okay, so as you can see, Mahesh has a slightly higher portfolio but a lower ROI. Ramesh has a lower portfolio but a higher ROI. So the question is, between these two, who will go bankrupt first? The answer, as you can see from this graph, is Mahesh goes bankrupt first. Okay. To be honest, it will, that is not the most interesting aspect of this graph. The most interesting aspect of this graph is that even someone like Ramesh, okay, goes bankrupt eventually. So look at Mahesh's graph. Okay, at the age of 70, his expenses exceed his income. Again, remember we have assumed that the inflation is 7%. Mahesh's portfolio is giving him 6.7%. So here, at this point, at the age of 70, his expenses are more than his portfolio or more than his income, and his portfolio starts falling. By the age of 85, he's bankrupt. Okay. In the case of Ramesh, now note, in Ramesh's case, his portfolio is generating a return of 9.1%, nearly 2% more than inflation. But even despite that gap, Ramesh reaches a point where his expenses exceed his income. That happens close to the age of 87 or 88. Okay. Once that happens, again, like his twin brother Mahesh, his portfolio starts falling rapidly. By the age of 102, he is also bankrupt. The only difference for Ramesh here is this: he goes bankrupt at the age of 102. Whereas in the case of Mahesh, he goes bankrupt by the age of 85. Now, assuming average life expectancy, it means that if both of them live till the age of 85, it means that Ramesh still has a lot of money left, whereas Mahesh is bankrupt. So, what is the moral of the story? Moral of the story is that in the initial years of your investing, your ROI does not matter. Honestly, like let's say if you are in your first year of investing, okay, it doesn't matter whether you're getting 7.5% today or whether you're getting 15% ROI through some unlisted stocks. The impact on your portfolio is not a lot. So your initial years should be focused on increasing your income and learning more about investments. However, let's say if you're a retired person with no income, then in that case, your focus should be on ROI because you do not have any income and you cannot control your savings to a great degree. Okay. So that is the importance of ROI. Now let's come to savings. Now again, savings, there are two levers here. One is that Rajesh can increase his investment by reducing expenses. Okay, let's say he keeps a budget. Okay, and every year he reduces his expenses by 2% per annum. Okay, so currently he is saving and investing 40% of his income. We are assuming that it increases by 2% per year. 40 becomes 42, 44, 46, and so on till it reaches a maximum of 66%. Again, what happens in that case? Okay, sorry, before we come to that, let's look at lever 2.2. In this case, he works a little harder, and he increases his investments by 3% per year. So if he's saving 40% per year, 40% this year, next year it will be 43, then 46, 49, 52, 55, so on till it reaches a maximum of 70%. Basically, he's working a little harder on saving money. So what happens in these two situations? Let's take a look. So like I said, if Rajesh does nothing, this is where he will be 1.1 crores. Let's say if he increases his savings by 2% per annum, his corpus grows a little more to say 1.58 crores. Let us say he works a little harder, instead of 2% per annum, he makes it 3% per annum. It comes to 1.71 crores. Again, in all these three cases, it is well behind his target of 2.4 crores. Okay. This is the graph depicting that. So why is savings most important? Among all the three levers, your income, your savings, and your ROI. Savings is the one that you control the most. Okay. Tomorrow something could happen to you. You could have some unexpected expense. Okay. Or something happens to your industry and you do not have a job. Like early last year when the pandemic hit, a lot of my friends they lost job in the travel sector. Okay, travel sector, hospitality sector, even theaters. So those people lost jobs, and there's nothing that they could do for months. So savings is one lever that you control the most. However, you should upgrade cautiously. The reason is very simple. uh, it is easier to upgrade to a higher lifestyle, but not vice versa. Like if you can go from a BMTC bus or a public transport bus to your own private car, but tomorrow if you were to lose money, it is hard to come back. Okay. And finally, the idea of penny pinching. Okay, now this is a lesson that we have heard from our parents. Paise paid pe nahi ugte, be very frugal, save money, etc., etc. Like my parents, they would not spend too much on buying soap or other cosmetics. Again, my father, he would always buy the smallest onions because he was afraid that a big onion might get spoiled and he might lose money that way. But if he had done the math like I've done here, honestly, it doesn't save you a lot. By arguing with the auto driver for a few rupees, or by buying the cheapest soap available in the supermarket, really in the long run, you're not going to save a lot of money. All you're going to do is waste a lot of time. So instead of saving a few rupees here and there, you should focus on doing other things, or at the very least, doing things that make you happier. Finally, that brings us to what is the most important lever, and that is your income. Okay, in this part of this session, I will explain why your income is the most important lever. So again, let us consider scenario one. Rajesh today gets a salary increment of 10% per annum. Now, let us say he works overtime, impresses his boss, gets a few promotion, and instead of a 10% hike, he gets 13% hike. That is situation 1.1 or lever 1.1. Second situation, he works even harder. Okay, he doesn't go to office, like he doesn't go home on weekends. He works 7 days a week. Okay, and his salary goes up from, instead of 10% per annum, it goes up by 15% per annum for the next 20 years. Okay, Again, both these levers are assumptions for the next 20 years. So let's look at what happens in these two situations. So like I said, if Rajesh does nothing, it is 1.1 crores. What happens if his salary goes up by 13% per annum? Again, in December 2039, that is after 20 years, his corpus would be rupees 1.7 crores. Okay. What if he works really hard and instead of getting just a 10% hike, what if he gets a 15% hike? In that case, the effect is even more. Okay. After adjusting for inflation, his corpus then becomes rupees 2.15 crores, which is very close to his target of 2.4 crores. Okay. Again, the red here, the red bars here show the interest component of his portfolio. Again, I'm skipping this in this presentation. Now, this this graph here shows you all the levers. Okay, the one at the bottom. Okay, no lever. Basically, Rajesh does nothing and continues to earn and invest the way he's doing currently. This black line you see, if you were to do that again, into December 2039, his corpus would be 4 crores, which after adjusting for inflation would be around 1.1 crores. On the other hand, let us consider the most optimistic scenario in which he increases his income by 15% per year. You know, he gets an increment of 15% per year for the next 20 years. In that case, his corpus is nearly 800 crores, you know, which after adjusting for inflation is, like we saw, 2.15 crores. Now, the point of all these graphs and numbers is not to, you know, tell you that, okay, you know, you should forget your life and just work on maximizing your income. No, that is not the purpose of this presentation. But we will come to that. Let us quickly review where all these three levers stand. So as you can see, lever one, it has the greatest impact. Okay. Followed by that is your savings. If you cannot earn a lot more, then focus on your savings. And then finally, after you have done these two, focus on your ROI. But like I said, if you are someone who does not have a source of income, then in that case, your ROI is the most important thing that you can focus on. Like I said, the aim of this presentation is not to show that, is not to tell you that you should forget everything and work super hard and you know, try to get a 15% per annum increment. No, that is not the point. The point of this presentation is to tell you where you should focus, how much. Like in investment, we keep talking about asset allocation, right? Here we are talking about effort allocation. Okay, how much effort should you put in these three? Okay, so let us say he gets a 15% hike per annum. Okay, apart from that, he also focuses on saving. So let's say he sticks to a budget. Okay, he cuts down on his expenses and he increases his savings by 1.5% per annum. Okay, so let's say if it is 40% this year, it is 41.5% the next year, then 43, then 44.5, and so on. So he's increasing the amount he's saving and investing. And then finally, let's also look at his investment. Okay, so currently, like I said, it is predominantly in PPF, FD, savings, and debt. He does not have a single rupee invested in equity. So let us assume that he starts investing in equity, changes his asset allocation gradually by 0.5% per annum. Okay, till he reaches a maximum of 10%. So if it is 7.5, this 7.5% this year, it will be 8% next year, then 8.5%, 9%, 9.5%, and so on. So he does all these three. Basically, he earns more, he saves more, and then he invests more. Or rather, he gets a higher return on his investment. So when he applies all these three, what is the combined impact? The combined impact is that in December 2039, he creates a corpus of rupees 2.25 crores, which is very close to his target of 2.4 crores. It is in fact 95% close to his target. Now, Rajesh can choose to retire at this point in December 2039, or he can continue to work for another 5 years, in which case his corpus after adjusting for inflation would be rupees 3.53 crores. So, as you can see from this graph, basically, first focus on increasing your income, okay? Then focus on increasing your savings, and then after you have done these two, you should focus on increasing the ROI of your investment. Okay, like I said, I have shared a link with you. I suggest you spend some time with it, download a copy, put the numbers for yourself, and see what result you get. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. Okay, if any of you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take it. In fact, okay, somebody said, yeah, 1 minute. Okay, so the link is here. 1 minute. This is the link. Okay, this same session was also done in December. So if some of you missed the earlier sections of my presentation, you can take a look at this YouTube video. We also did an article, a 4-part article on this levers of wealth. You can go through it here. Okay. If any of you would like to, give me numbers, I can actually do it in front of you right now. I can put the numbers, so any volunteers? No, I mean, Manisha ma'am, if you are interested, you can, tell me what numbers you would like to input, and I will do that right in front of you. Okay. Or how about you, Sai Prashant? Why don't you, let's do it this way. Why don't you tell me a few numbers? Okay. And like 1 minute. Sai, you there?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Or sorry, we have Miss Komal. Okay. Okay. I will share my screen, Miss Komal, 1 minute. So you said your current salary is 75,000 per month, which comes to rupees 9 lakhs per annum, correct? Komal ma'am, okay, wait, let me, Sai, can you unmute Miss Komal?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Komal ma'am, can you, so I have, okay, so Komal ma'am, you there?
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Okay, so let's do it for you. So you said your monthly salary is
75K.
Yeah, just Srini, 75K is CTC or take home salary?
For the purpose of this presentation, let's assume that your post-tax income after tax is 75.
That would be a better one.
Yeah, let's assume that 1 minute. Yeah, just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So you said your post-tax income is 75. Sorry, is 9 lakhs per annum. Okay. How much? What is the increment you get per annum? Komal ma'am?
Close to 15% or 20% yearly.
Okay. So can you say that for the next 20 years? Let's go with 15% for the next 20 years. Okay.
Like, yeah, because of some scenario, like because of the current situation, like past 2 years, I'm getting 20% approx, but then somehow it come up to 30 or 35 as well.
Okay, great.
Before
So
that, before 2 years, it was 30 or 40% as well.
Yeah, so my question is, what do you think? You tell me a number over the next 20 years. Approximately what would be your increment for the next 20 years?
Like as per the current situation, I believe that if I would take an average of 20% as an increment will be okay.
Okay, so again, I have given 10%. Okay, to get a total of 20%, I am adding 10% extra. Okay, now how
Mm-hmm.
much are you investing per annum?
No, I don't have any savings, nothing at all, because my dad is doing that, and I'm just earning and spending on my own.
Okay, so you see this column called previous balance, right? So you are saying that you do not have any savings so far, correct?
Mm, correct, correct.
Okay, so we put that zero. Okay, uh, let us say from 2021. Okay,
Mm.
how much will you be investing, saving and investing?
From 2021, like you tell me how much should I save? Like what percentage of my salary should I save
I
for the
do not.
core
I
of
mean, I
my?
do. No, that's up to you. I do not know your lifestyle. Okay, so you tell me a number. The point of this exercise is to show you what your corpus will be 20 years from now. Okay, so you decide how much you earn, how much you save, and how much you invest.
Mm, so
You said
as per the last no, I'm not investing anything as of now. So after this pandemic situation, I think I should have saved something for myself for future benefits. So I would say, like, from now onwards, I would say 30% of my salary for sure.
30%. Okay, will
Yeah.
this number increase every year? Like it is 30% now. Next year, will it go? How much will it go up by?
Uh,
Let's say
a
it
minute.
will go up by 3% per annum. If it is
Okay.
30 this year, 33 next year,
Mm-hmm.
can we say that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So 30% is your base investment. This year, every year you are increasing it by 3% per annum. Okay.
Hmm.
And let's assume that you go till a maximum of 66% per annum. The reason I'm giving a maximum is because nobody can save 100%. Okay. There has to be a
Right.
limit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, let's again, like Rajesh, let's assume that your current ROI is 7.5%. Okay. Like you start by investing in debt funds, PPF, and very safe products. Can we assume that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And next year, let us say you increase it by 2% per annum. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And till you get a maximum of 11%. Again, I'm assuming that the inflation is 7%. Basically, your cost of living goes up by 7% per annum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I
Mm-hmm.
assume that?
Yes, sir. But currently it is 8%. The inflation rate is eight
Okay. So
percent.
okay, we will go with 8. I mean, whatever number you suggest. Like because
Mm-hmm.
different people have, like for example, if you have kids or if you have someone who has medical bills, for them the inflation will be a lot higher. So again, I do not know if that is your situation. So you tell me what would be a good inflation number.
No, no, that's not my situation. I don't have to take care of anything.
Okay, so we'll go with 8%. Okay,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
so as you can see, after 15 years, your corpus, after 15 years, your corpus will be 6.3 crores. After adjusting for inflation, it will be 2.1 crores. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
after 20 years, which is again in the year 2040. This is 2021. In the
Hmm.
year, in December 2040, actually, you will have 19 crores of corpus, which after adjusting for inflation would be 4.5 crores. Basically, 19 crores in December 2040 is equal to what is 4.5 crores today.
Okay.
So, after doing this exercise, what do you feel? Like, are you surprised by the number?
Absolutely.
Okay, so did you think that you will get to 19 crores after 20 years?
Yes, if I'll stick to my words that I will start savings from now on. and
So
I will
again,
do
I do
that.
not want to take you. I don't want you to take my word. Okay, I have shared the link. Just put the numbers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this all you have to do is put the numbers here and see it for yourself. Okay, or alternatively, you don't even have to go by this spreadsheet. On online, if you go on the internet, there are many such calculators available. You just have to input how much money you are making today, how much you are saving, and what is the interest rate that you will get. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah. Does anyone else want to do this? We'll take one more person. Okay, Deepan I need to understand the calculation of adjusted inflation ROI. Okay, Deepan, okay, I will show that to you. Wait, let me share my screen. So here we have assumed 8% per annum as inflation. Okay, 1 minute. 17 divided by R. Okay, so Deepan, you see the screen, right? So let us say this is 20. Let us say this is 2020. Okay. So what is worth 100 rupees today will be worth rupees 108 next year. Okay. Then 116. Then 125. Okay. This is basically inflation. Okay. So by applying that simple formula here, if you can see this. Okay. 1 minute. For Deepan, are you able to see my screen? So for the year 2039, 1 minute. Yeah. For the year 2039, you see it is getting divided. O27 is getting divided by R27. Okay, this. I mean, yeah, sorry. This is the one that I was referring to. Yeah, see, can you see these two cells highlighted? I will highlight it for your benefit, this one and this one. Okay. So basically, it's a simple division that I'm doing. Okay. Again, I will come here. What is worth rupees 100 today becomes 108. Okay. So simple division explained in the sheet here. That's how I get inflation. I suggest you take a look at the sheet yourself. I think that will be an easier way to understand. Yeah. This is the link. I will share it again. Pradeep, like I said, you have to download it or make a copy in Google Sheets for yourself. Okay, I'll take, since Lalit has said, Lalit can, wait. Sai, can you unmute Lalit? Or wait.
Muted.
Okay, Lalit, can you
Hello.
quickly tell me your numbers? I mean, since you saw, Komal do that, can you quickly tell me your, post-tax annual income?
Yeah, actually, I cannot see your screen.
Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute. Let me share my screen. Okay, now you should be able to. Can you now see? Okay, what is the amount of money you have saved so far? Saved and invested so far. Again, this does not
Let's
have
say
to be
5
lakhs. Okay, let's
5 saved. Yeah.
Okay. What is your annual income after tax?
6.
Okay. And then how much growth are you expecting?
10.
10%, right?
10.
Okay.
Yes.
For those of you who are watching, see, I've split this into two. Expected growth is 10%, but if you are expecting a little more, okay, then you add. So since in Lalit's case, there is no such thing, it will be 0. Okay, expected growth is 10% and there is no lever. Like in the sense he's not working on increasing his income. Okay, Lalit, how much are you investing today, and how much can you increase it by?
Right now, no, but planning to like invest around 10 or
10%.
10%.
Okay,
Yeah.
10%. Okay, and I'm assuming you will increase it every year, correct?
Yeah, by 5%.
By 5%. Okay. Again, we are assuming that it will go till a maximum of 70%. In this case, let us assume a maximum of 70%. Okay.
Okay.
Like this year it is 10, then 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 till it reaches a maximum of 70%. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
where will you start? In which products will you like to invest initially?
Currently, I'm not sure actually, but if we consider the safest product, so let's say PPF.
Yeah, PPF, FD, savings.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this case, again, because this was for last year, currently these products after tax will, let's assume, give you 6%. Okay, this is your current ROI.
Okay.
How much do you want to increase it every year?
It will depend actually, right? It is not in my
No, how
hand.
much do you want
This
to? How
ROI.
much do you want to? I'm not
Okay.
saying whether it will happen or not. This is not a prediction. This is a projection. So,
Okay.
how much do you want to?
Minimum 5 to 10%.
Okay, that is not a realistic. Yeah, like you can, because you are saying that if you are doing it by 5 to 10%, so it means it will be 6% now, 11, 16. Okay, we can per annum, we can try for, let's say, 3% per annum. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, 3% per annum till
So this.
maximum, let's say 13%. Okay.
Okay. So this 3% will be like based on what things.
So let's say, so you, okay, this year you have invested it in, PPFFD. Okay. Next year you
Yes.
invest some of that, like you transfer some of that FD into, say, equity or stocks or debt funds.
Okay.
Basically, you change your asset allocation.
Okay.
Simple. It's
Okay.
simple as that. So from 6% per year, it will go to,
Okay.
9% next year, then 12, then 13. We have given it till a maximum of
Okay.
13 because after that point, honestly, it is very difficult. Two reasons: because
Okay.
at that level, you also attract a much higher level of tax. Okay. And secondly,
Okay.
this is for the next 20 years. Okay. So even if you are able to do 30% 1 year, on average, it will be, doing it for 20 years will be very difficult, which is why I have given a ROI limit of 13%. Okay.
Okay.
What is your inflation figure? Like, do you have kids? Do you have any dependents who have a lot of medical bills, or in anything that goes up very fast? Any bill that goes up very fast?
Yeah, I think 8% should be okay.
8% should be okay. So again, you can see the numbers for yourself, right? After 15 years, okay, you will have 2.2 crores. Okay.
Okay.
After adjusting for inflation, it will be 75 lakhs. Okay.
Okay.
After 20 years, like if you start in, let's say if you had started in January 2021, okay,
Okay.
after 20 years would be December 2040. Okay, your corpus would be 5.64 crores, but after adjusting for inflation, it will be
Okay.
1.3 crores.
One.
Okay, so someone asked me how I
Okay.
am arriving at that inflation. Again, like if you can, wait a minute. कहाँ गया? Even I'm getting a little. Anyway, so like so see this, the column R that you see, this is the column that shows depreciation or inflation. Basically, what is worth 100 rupees today will cost 108 next year, 116. So in 2040, it will be 466 rupees. So what you buy for 100 rupees today, in the year 2040, you will need 466 rupees, which is basically 4.6 times. Okay. So in Lalit's case, if you divide 5.64 crores by 4.66, you will approximately get 1.3 crores of inflation adjusted income. It is simple fifth grade division that I've done. Okay. So I guess that explains how to use the sheet. Mr. Anand, honestly, you do not need to do any calculation. You just need to put the numbers like I did here. You do not need to do anything else. Anyone else? Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay. By the way, I also have here with me Mr. Sai Prashant. So if any of you want to ask questions about how to change your asset allocation, he is the perfect person. Varun, I cannot give you edit access because, like I said, there are a lot of people who want to access that sheet. So you will have to download it or save a copy. You cannot edit that sheet. Sorry. But really, like I said, it is very simple. You do not need to Excel anything. You just have to add the numbers. Put the numbers yourself and see it. For those of you who are interested in calculation, you can look at the formulas and see what I've done. Okay, Sai Prashant, Sai, do you want to take that question? Investment for a 67-year-old person.
So Anand, you are asking for a 67-volt retired person, if I'm not wrong. Anand, can you unmute?
No, wait, Sai, I'll unmute him. I'll unmute him 1 minute. Anand, you can now ask your question.
Okay. He retired. Is still working. He's got a business.
Okay.
But hello.
So why he
But he's
wants
got a
to
business,
save?
but
Why?
his
Because
business
he
is
wants.
like of. No, he's
Yeah.
already
Which
his
business?
LIC policy are getting mature. A business of
Mhm.
books, selling books in wholesale retail. The
Okay.
novels, all type of
Okay.
this magazines, all these books.
Yeah. Understood.
And his LIC's policy are getting mature. So he was asking me about this, but thing is that I also could not give him medical policy. Like medical policy also I can give him. He has already got a 20 lakh cover of medical policy, but that is from his son office, TCS. He doesn't have his own.
Okay.
So if there any short investment,
I think
like,
you know about group insurance. Yeah. First of all, when you told about group health insurance, health insurance will have some clauses. Suppose.
Yeah. I
if
told
he,
him already. Yeah.
Tell you. Yeah, son joins other company. Immediately he will lose that control. Suppose some companies' parents are not covered. Yeah, that is one. Second thing, why he wants to save. I think his expenditure, everything is going with his son's salary or anything.
Yeah, he's now on
For his future generations, right?
Yes.
It's not for him, it's for his future generations. So my thing is to ask whether he wants to save for his son or grandsons.
Okay.
I mean,
no, actually, question is he doesn't want to save, or actually, I'm also an insurance advisor. I think I don't know. So I just called him yesterday and asked him, is there any investment plan, something like that. He told me, come and meet me. Then I explained me, but I can't give any investment plan of insurance because I don't think that will help him. And pension plan also will not help him.
No. I'm not telling about insurance. I'm just telling about the process. So here, how long he's thinking about doing the investment? 10 years, 5 years? We don't know. And it is not.
I don't know.
For him.
Yes. No, I don't
And
know.
it's not
because,
for him.
Yes,
So,
it's only depending on me how much I can give him. Like he will see the plan and then only will decide.
I mean, there are two
At least
things.
for 5 years or
He
10 years.
go to mutual funds, which is our moderate aggressive medium term balanced fund.
Okay.
So it will be into mutual funds. That will be his first option. Second option is into whether he wants some cover on his son's name or daughter's name. Then Sanchay Par Advantage is also suggested.
No, I want only on his name, not in children's name, because his children are already covered and they are not interested in all this.
No. I'm not telling about the cover. I'm telling about investing. Why? Because at that age of 67, no insurance company will give cover on him.
Right.
That's the reason I'm telling. Don't see insurance only as an insurance product. Sometimes it might be helpful for an investment product also. One of my clients has taken G1 product from LIC, which is a very good product in 2001. But now they stopped it in 2002 itself, only because it is giving higher than the expected returns.
So I think mutual fund only the best investment for him, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can go with medium-term balanced portfolio where he will be having no lock-in. Whenever he wants to withdraw, he can withdraw by paying some taxes and exit loads. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then I think since we are also nearing the end of this presentation, right? If you have any questions, you can let me let me know by typing in the chat box. But really, it's a pretty straightforward spreadsheet. All you have to do is download it or save a copy. Add your numbers and see what it comes up with. Okay, I've also shared a list of articles which explain all the assumptions in detail. If you still have any other questions, like I said, you can go through this video. This video is again a repeat of the session that we had done in December last year. If all of these do not clarify your doubts, like I said, I'm available in all WhatsApp groups. You can message me anytime and I'll be more than happy to answer. With that, again, we come to the end of another session. As always, thanks to everyone for joining. Thank you, Sai, for being patient, admitting people and answering their questions. I hope you enjoyed this session. The reason I decided to take this session, like a lot of the concepts explained here, to be honest, are a little basic. Like if you are an experienced investor or wealth manager, you do not need any reminders about it. However, in some of the previous sessions, people were saying that they are not very familiar with such concepts, which is why we decided to do a repeat of the session. I hope you found it useful. If you have any feedback, please feel free to share it right now, or you can also convey it directly to your relationship manager. I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope to see you in the next session, which will be on Thursday, 7:30 p.m. We will let you know the topic and the speaker. Thank you for attending. Thanks, Sai.